Hey, beautiful people. Welcome back to an all-new episode of Point of View. Today, we're joined by our co-host, the marvelous Miss Claudia Massey. Welcome. Welcome. We're so excited to have you. Thank you. We're excited.
Yes.
Coming up on today's show, gospel singer and pastor Marvin Sapps is facing backlash after allegedly holding his congregation hostage until they paid their tithes and offerings, maybe. We have all the details. Later in Girlfriend's Guide, in honor of Women's History Month, we're having an important conversation about domestic violence among women, a topic that doesn't get talked about enough. So grab a seat, join the discussion. You're watching POV. All right, so let's jump right into it. Gospel singer and pastor Marvin Sapps is facing major backlash after a viral clip shows him allegedly refusing to continue his sermon until his congregation has brought in their love offering. Marvin had an interesting way of asking his congregation to cough up $40,000 in donations. Let's take a look.
There's 1,000 of you. I said close them doors. Ushers, close the doors. Close the doors. Close the doors. We all gonna leave together. Y'all ain't going no place but to the restaurant. There's 1,000 of you tonight, and those that are watching, it's 1,000 that's watching online. This is a small seed. If I get 1,000 online to give this, if I get 1,000 in the sanctuary to give this, that's $40,000 tonight.
Lord Jesus. The question is, do we feel like this is an abuse of power?
What?
Or is this a common practice in the church when it comes to giving? Now, I done been to many churches, and I ain't seen nothing as tacky as this.
Shut the doors is crazy.
And the fact that he had to say it 4 times was the ushers didn't want to do it.
Okay, that part. They were like, "Are you joking? Right? Is this a joke? You for real? Like, should we really shut it?"
I said,
Right, shut the door.
I serve as an usher, right? Mm-hmm. And if the pastor's talking, the way he said it, it was so demanding. Mm-hmm. I would be confused as well. Like, wait a minute, what's going on? Mm-hmm. And then his facial expression as well. Like I said, shut the door.
Right.
Like, who are you talking to?
Right.
So did they raise the money?
I'm not sure, and if they did, it is not going to be disclosed, especially after now the fact that it's gone viral. And I have so many mixed feelings about this. On one, I feel like, at some extent, I know we're living in the cell phone, social media era, but there are some things that may be in sacred places if the church is still considered a sacred place, because some of these churches are going right to hell. But
probably that one right there.
But at the end of the day, I think some things should not be televised or publicized unless the church is putting it out. But I also think that a prophet that I follow on Instagram, love her, Tiffany Montgomery, she's also talking about a lot when the grace has left your spiritual leader. And so I can't say, because I don't want to be like the kids in the Bible that got stoned down now. So I can't say whether the grace has left Marvin Sapps or not.
Right.
But I'm going to ask the Lord to show me tonight in prayer.
Right.
Well, I think it seems a bit arrogant, one. And it seems like, who are you first to demand that people give anything? That I don't think that's right. And at so many churches, like you said, they are doing that. But I've been to churches that they're like, if it's in your heart to give, then you give. Because when you're demanding people, you don't make people want to give. If you're going to guilt me and try to condemn me over giving, I ain't giving nothing.
Okay. Not at that church.
Not at that church.
Not at that church. Yes, it was definitely the presentation of it.
Yeah.
Because, it could have been handled or, presented in such a different manner, where people would have been eager to give.
But I also get it, too, that, you want to keep your church doors open. It's important to give to your church where you're getting fed, because there are bills to pay. Just like at your home, you go there and you get the word. They have bills to pay. They got to keep the roof over their head. They got to keep the lights on. And you want to go there. And you should want to support your pastor, because your pastor is there feeding you hopefully he feeding you right. That's the thing. No. You know, but I mean, what do? You got to know that for yourself. But I mean, you know, it's important that we as a community, we want to support, we want to tithe, we want to keep our church doors open. But that right there, absolutely not.
Yeah, and it's interesting as well because a lot of times, you know, there are different movements, and sometimes the spirit moves in church, and you just kind of feel like, honey, God, you can have it all.
Right.
You know, whatever they do with it is none of my business.
Right.
And I think that that's why it's important, one, to be in the right house under the right leadership.
Right.
But at the same time, I just really feel like this was very distasteless, and so it did prompt me to go on over to his Instagram page since I didn't follow him previously, and I saw that he is now working on expanding his studio or his podcast space for he wants to get, you know, into podcasts and things. So I'm wanting to know, is that what the $40,000 was?
Honey.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Okay.
Look here. Oh my
You
goodness.
asking the church to raise $40,000 for
your podcast?
I speculate. You know, I don't know what it was for.
Speculation.
You did just say grandbaby. It could have been for that. too. We don't
Allegedly.
know. Right, but Marvin needs to sing the songs and work the people up that way, baby, because that preaching didn't do it for me.
Right.
But on to our next topic. Some say that money can't buy happiness, but it can cost you a friendship. A recent study found that 54% of people have lost a friendship over money issues, whether it's unpaid loans, financial differences, or feeling taken advantage of. And 71% of people had lent money to friends and family and never been repaid. So is lending money to a loved one ever a good idea, or is it a recipe for resentment?
I'll tell you this.
Tell us, Junie.
Do we want to hear it?
Do not. No. This is literally a word of advice.
Okay.
Do not give anything that you are expecting to receive back. Don't
I was
give
gonna
it.
say that now.
Don't give it if you cannot afford to lose it, because it's not always guaranteed to come back.
That's good.
Now, I have lost unfortunately, of friendships because of money, and it's just like, I just feel like if you're my friend and we really friends and I give you something, or there's a situation where money is involved and you don't got it, say you don't got it. So that maybe I can have you. But if you don't tell me that you don't got it and you just moving however you move and now there's a bill due, now you're making me look bad.
Also, expectations. You know, when we're in a relationship with men, you know, we set our expectations, the boundaries, and so forth. So, you know, I think that should be in place as well with friends and family.
Yes.
You know,
Yes.
that's important.
For sure. I'm also wondering, is money really the friendship killer, or is it, you know, exposing underlying issues?
Such as.
As far as what?
As far as like you can
like their irresponsibility.
or there could already be resentment, or it could be
them not being
irresponsible.
able to take accountability. Like, which road do you want me to go down?
It sounds like you're going down a familiar road. So I don't know if I want you to
feel
go
very
down
triggered right now.
She triggered, honey.
Where you want me to go? It's lack of accountability. I feel like if you owe somebody money, then you should pay them that money, or you should. What's them little apps called, Klarna? You could go and pay Klarna in installments, but you can't pay your friend.
Okay.
Girl.
Good point.
Oh, but you know that is a good point. But also, I hate when people borrow money and try to pay me back in installments. Hold it
No.
until you build it up.
No.
I don't want you to give me I don't want you. Then I'm not
They
gonna pay it.
trying.
I don't want you to
But
give me
it's an
$1,000
effort.
in $25 increments, baby.
But it's an
I'll never see
effort.
$1,000.
But it's an effort. It's an effort to
Take
repay
something.
you.
Yes.
Imagine them not
Just
giving you
period.
anything
Not
at
even
all.
making an effort.
Exactly. Because if they have to hold it, remember now they needed it. If
Right.
they have to hold it, they're gonna need it.
Right.
Yeah.
But you know what? I also feel like maybe a lot of issues arise with friendship and money because when it comes to money, something so tangible like that, I feel like if someone lends you something, even though you should make good to repay it, people are, you know, banking on the fact that it has to come back in that form. But I feel like we don't necessarily do that with other things. So if you give someone something, and maybe I may cook you a meal, and you know that I can't cook, or I know you can't cook. You know what I'm saying? You're
Right,
not going
right.
to give me a meal back, and I'm fine with that. If your mama made me a meal, or a meal comes from a stranger, I count that as God repaid me.
Yes.
But if you don't give my money back, I'm not counting that other $1,000 that God gave me as Him repaying.
Right.
I love that you said that because, you know, sometimes we are in friendships where we have different things. One friend might have money, and another friend might, really support,
And take accountability.
Yes, and take accountability, so that sort of equals out the friendship. But, when you're the one always giving and all the way always pouring, and you're not receiving anything back, wait a minute. What's going in my cup? So, we
That's
give
when you got to take your cup back.
take my cup back.
And
Well, it's
pour
like-
it in yourself.
Yes.
It's like my mom took my dog for grooming, and that's about $55-$60, right? Well, I didn't give her cash back, but I bought her some things she wanted from Sprouts, right? Oh, I shouldn't even say that. Oh, from the grocery store. So I got her some things. So, I mean, for me, that's like paying her back. But I do know someone.
But did she feel paid back? Because some people don't like that.
Oh, I don't know how she feel. I know how I feel she paid back. You see how people are?
Listen,
But
no.
already y'all have a discussion about it, because when in friendships,
Yeah.
they're still holding that. Like, you never paid me back.
Yeah.
Although you might do 10 things for them.
That's right.
Where you brought
They wanted
Yeah.
that $60.
Yes,
Right,
yes.
yeah.
You never gave me back my $60, friend.
Mama, you feel I paid you back? Let me know, please.
In the comments. Let her know in the comments.
No, don't put her out there. Let her know later on at the house. Hit a phone. But we have to take a quick commercial break. Coming up right after this, we have Mind, Body, and Soul, an unpopular opinion. So stay tuned. Of course, you're watching POV.
What's up, social media family? Thank you so much for tuning in. It is Thursday, and I got a question. So, how long should you take to go on a date after a breakup? Like, should there be some sort of grace period in between the breakup and going on your next date?
I'm jump right on in this one.
Oh,
quick.
okay.
So, what I think is that it depends.
Okay.
It depends if you healed before you left that relationship, because a lot of times women and or men, they stay so long that they've already done the healing process before they even decided to leave. So
Yeah.
if you're
They
healed,
mentally already left.
exactly,
Gotcha.
exactly, then you go on and you do
Gotcha.
what thus says the Lord.
Okay.
I totally agree with that. I think
Okay.
it's in your own timing. You know yourself, be introspective, check on you and determine, is it time to move on, or are you still in that place where you need to spend more time with yourself? I think it's up to each individual.
Yes, I love that you said that. Self-awareness, because sometimes we jump into relationships just because we don't want to be by ourselves.
Right, right.
We're not taking the time to love ourselves, to really learn ourselves, to really heal.
Right.
So just, take that time for self-awareness. But if you are a secure person, and like you said, if you've already left mentally, do you.
Okay, and just like that, do you. You hear me? Okay, if you're ready to go on that date, go on that date. Okay? We're going to get back to the show.
Welcome back. It's time for one of our favorite parts of the show, where we dive into love, life, relationships, and everything in between. Let's get into Girlfriend's Guide. As we celebrate Women's History Month, we honor not just the achievements of women, but also the battles they fought and overcome. Today, talking about survival and resilience, because the reality is 1 in 4 women in the United States have experienced severe physical violence from an intimate partner. It is a tough truth, but a very much needed conversation. And so we're so excited to have this conversation with you today, Miss Claudia, and just to touch a little bit on this unspoken topic that really doesn't get enough, publicity.
Yes.
Yeah. So, what I know a little bit about your, story and some of the things that you've been triumphant over. And so this is Women History Month, and we're so excited to tell us a little bit about who you are.
Yeah, so a little bit about who I am. My name is Claudia Massey from Richmond, Virginia. I'm a business owner, television host on Preach the Word Worldwide Network TV.
No, that's right.
Radio host in Richmond, Virginia. I love God, married to a wonderful man, James Massey. Just shout out to him, who served 29 years in the military. Yeah.
Shout out.
Yeah.
Big up, big up.
And I have to say, shout my husband out, because as we're talking about domestic violence, I was married to a man, who was mentally ill, and we have to realize that, sometimes we overlook mental illness, but when people do certain things, there's always the question, why? What makes us do the things that we do?
Right.
And, it's a lot of people walking around with undiagnosed mental illness.
Yes.
So, I really went through a short time, because I was only married to this man for 2 years. I realized, hey, I'm not being loved. I'm not being respected. I'm not being valued. I'm not, and I won't really say punching bag, because, I experienced things like being pushed to the floor, being held down and having bruises on my arms, or a fist balled up in my face, So I was constantly praying. And also, I even at one point felt like I didn't even want to be here anymore, and I just, gave you all a snippet of who I am today, so I just really want to encourage women and men, who are experiencing domestic violence. Hang in there, that there's hope and that you can reclaim your life, and I know also it's not easy to just walk out the door, People stay for different reasons. I stayed at the time. I come from a little small town called Council, North Carolina. No stoplight, right? And moved to Richmond, Virginia. And I'm just like, okay, what now, God? Here I am. I've uprooted my children. Here I am. So yes, it did take 2 years. Why did I stay? For security. We stay for many different reasons. But at the end of the day, we do have to find a way to, exit the relationship, So, hey, for those of you who are experiencing, the women, because it's Women's History Month, you deserve better. You are better, and a lot of times we have to affirm ourselves and know we are enough. We are worthy. We are deserving. We are loved,
Right.
And,
Yes. Yes,
hey.
well, we congratulate you and we celebrate you, and we are so excited and blessed even by your strength, just as a show to us and all women that, whose life you get to touch, and everybody that you encounter for what God has called you to do. And, I hear you say, it was only 2 years, but that's a lot of days.
Yes.
That's a lot of
long
days.
nights.
Yes, it is.
Yes. So
Yes.
I thank God for, what he was able to get the information to you in that time, because, look how many people you're able to bless and speak to and heal now. So,
Yes.
yeah. So what was the turning point that, gave you the strength to leave?
Yes, the turning point, God works in all kinds of ways. We pray and we ask God, deliver me from this, deliver me. And, I saw some signs, but, I went through with the marriage, and I was constantly praying, and actually something else happened, which isn't my story to tell, but something else happened that allowed me, hey, now I'm free. Social services had to get involved, and a lot of different things happened. And it wasn't because of his abuse to me, but something happened. And
So you were forced away, really?
yes, I was forced
But
away.
you wasn't going to leave, probably.
No, I was working on it.
Okay.
Yes, I was definitely working on it.
Okay.
But God just, sped things up for me.
Yeah.
Yes.
Thank God.
Yes.
What kind of support or resources do you think would have helped you, at that time earlier in your journey?
Absolutely. If I had someone that I was listening to the way people listen to me today on my show, Reclaiming My Life,
Yeah.
someone that I felt like, oh, I can go and I can talk to her and she can help me. But I wasn't seeing anyone, and that's the purpose of my show, to talk about the trials and the trauma we experience in life, how we overcome and reclaim to give other people hope. Because, see, people aren't sharing, hey, I'm in a domestic violence
Especially that-
relationship,
yeah, for sure.
or I've been abused or whatever, trauma we are experiencing because we feel we're going to be judged or criticized or questioned, well, why did you ever do it? People aren't really showing empathy, for what we're going through. But, on my platform, so many people are coming, giving these kind of testimonies to give others
Can
hope.
you tell our viewers where they can find your platform?
Absolutely. It's Preach the Word Worldwide Network TV. It's based in Atlanta, Georgia. Also, you can find it on Roku and Prime and Apple TV as well. Follow my YouTube, Coach Claudia Massey. I post my shows there as well.
That is so awesome. And hearing you talk about your wonderful husband now and your life and all of your triumphs and all of the outreach that you get to do through your shows and other things like that, it just speaks to, and I kind of want to maybe for you to speak a little bit about the importance of, having a hope for the future, for other people. And, when you say when that door swung open and you were able to, see your way out and you actually took that out to, even maybe consider like what life would have been like, if you didn't do that. Like now, and I think a lot of times too, when we're going through, people get connected to the struggle and they can't see a way out, but they don't realize that that test is part of your testimony as like it was your evidence of that, Now you're speaking to so many women and helping heal and change so many lives because of what you had to go through.
Yes. I can't even imagine if I had continued staying there. I was mentally, emotionally, physically drained because when we're going through such sadness on a daily basis, it takes a toll on your health, your physical health, your mental and emotional health. And then you have to put on a mask every day, for your children, for your church family. You want everybody to think everything is okay, and then you have a group of friends where we're sitting around talking and, they're saying, well, I went through blah, 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 because they had already gone through it and they were free. And I'm sitting there, I want to get it out, but I can't get it out, just afraid, so I just want to say, hey, you don't have to be afraid, that there is hope. There are resources. Call the domestic violence hotline. A lot of times, we're being threatened. I will kill you. We want to protect our children.
Right.
You're scared. Okay, what if I do? You can be so close to doing so, but then you're thinking, what's going to happen to my child if I do it?
So you had children with him?
Not with him, no.
Okay.
I had 3 daughters.
Before him?
Yes, before him.
Okay, okay. So you didn't have any kids with him?
No, thank God.
Thank God. Thank God.
We're gonna keep going.
Thank God.
Yeah, don't never need to talk to him.
Did you have like any emotional ties, you feel like, when you actually left?
No.
Or were you just happy to be gone?
I was happy to be gone.
Thank God.
Yes.
So you healed before you left.
She said she got her way out.
I'm happy.
I'm sure, there was still some process and transition that had to happen, but
Yeah.
you're like, listen, I know I ain't supposed to be here. Let me go.
Yes.
So thank God for that.
Yes.
What advice would you give to women or anyone in a domestic violence situation now?
Yes, I would say, hey, go to a pastor. There are also some shelters. There are a lot of people who actually have shelters for women, who are going through domestic violence. Reach out to that person. And, in my city, in Richmond, there's a lady there, and she has a shelter, and she's also a police officer.
Wow.
Yes.
Oh, so that's double protection.
Okay, double
She's a
protection.
safe haven, and you can't come over here for real.
Okay, that part, So, hey, find resources like that and reach out, because the resources are out there. They're out there.
How do you find them?
Yes, Google. Google them.
We look up everything else.
Yes, we look up everything else. Google
But sometimes
them.
women's shelters and things don't always
That's
come up.
true.
That's
That
true.
is true.
That's true.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. I think there needs to be, I remember seeing some content and information a while ago about like little codes, and things like that. And I think that that's something that maybe we all need to learn. I wish there was a secret space that we could, learn, like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Like how they do at the
SOS
bars
with
when
your
they
eyes.
say, when they have it in the women's stalls on the back of the bathroom
Yes.
stalls, it says "Ask the bartender for an angel shot"
Yes.
if you feel like you're in trouble.
yes, okay.
I like stuff like
Yes,
that.
Yeah,
Yes.
I love
That's
that. I
good.
love that. It's so important. And again, I cannot, say enough how much we honor you. And I am so
Yeah.
grateful for your story,
Yes.
100%. And just all that God is doing and allowing you to do. So we are so happy to be able to connect with you today. And thank you for being transparent. And I really hope that if there's anyone at home that is watching this that needs to take that leap of faith and just to see some light at the end of the tunnel, we have Miss Claudia Massey here that has truly been triumphant, and it definitely can be you too. So we thank God for that.
Yes.
And again,
amen.
can you tell people where they can follow you?
Yes.
Yes, follow me on Facebook, Claudia Massey, Instagram, Coach Claudia Massey, YouTube, Coach Claudia Massey. And look, if y'all want to reach out, if you're going through, email me at hello@claudiamassey.com.
I love that.
Just
Hello.
Google Claudia Massey, you will find
Yes.
her.
Yeah. It's the
Okay.
hello at ClaudiaMassey.com.
like that
Y'all
too.
need to be able to remember that.
Yes.
But that's a wrap for today's show. And as we wrap up Women's History Month, we'll leave you with this powerful quote from Robin Roberts. You never know which experiences of life are going to be of value. You've got to leave yourself open to the hidden opportunities. Thank you so much for tuning in to POV. Catch us here weekdays only on Afro TV. Good night.